I'm Chris. I'm from Las Vegas, and today I'm coming to you from a haunted mining town about between 50 to 100 miles east of Las Vegas. We are going to the Eldorado mine for their, and right next to the Eldorado mine happens to be a haunted ghost. Now, what's the story with the haunted ghost town? Apparently, this ghost town was built during the gold rush of the 1800s. The Eldorado mine was known for drawing out millions of dollars of gold, silver, and copper. And this city, this little ghost town, was built in the 1800s by supposedly deserters from the Civil War. Doesn't quite say which side they were, but deserters from the Civil War. So, let's get a little view of the Old West. Let's see. As you can see, this truly is a ghost town. We're in the middle of nowhere. We're next to the Colorado River, where steamboats used to give travel to this mining town and, of course, transport ore. A cool little shop. We have to go check in for the tour. But yes, we are going on a haunted mining tour, and I'm bringing you. Stay tuned. Just to look at the Old West Museum. I'm a big fan of antiques. I'm a big fan of history. It's going to be a fun tour. We're going to go deep down into the mines and, of course, hear about the ghost town. So I'm excited. I love all the old stuff. History has a story to tell, and I love how objects can tell those stories. Wicked.
No, in 2008, the kids had a snow day. Out of all these treasures, look at all this stuff. You guys know what this is? This is a rivet for the Hoover Dam. A rivet for your jeans. Begin with Johnny Moss. John had a great idea. Instead of walking through the heat, he got on a riverboat. The Colorado River was the main way here for 40 years. The other good idea he had, he carried samples of quartz while he's on the boat and talked to Native Americans along the shoreline if they ever seen white rock. He had other people do the work. Clever. When he got here, the Southern Paiutes, they said gestured and kept repeating to Chattuckup, to Chattuckup. So he gave them food. In exchange for that payment, the Native Americans guy John up here and over there, I saw the 8-foot wide vein of quartz. It was about as high as this beam. Pretty obvious running across, you know. So he called the mine to Chattuckup, Southern Paiute from hungry food, something like that. Native Americans didn't know the value of gold, didn't put one on it. John didn't have men, money, machines, so he flips it. Goes to the place called Oatman, Arizona today. Anybody been there? You ever been to the Moss mine? No. You have to go through town and keep going on Route 66, and it's up by Sitgreaves Pass. Anyway, he flipped that one, ended up in San Francisco in 1880, dead of a gunshot wound and penniless, because they said he did the Vegas thing along the way. Went out like a rock star. Here's the oldest pictures of Southern Nevada gang. In 1863, taken by a German photographer. This is what the guys looked like, dressed like. This is how they lived out here. They pile up a bunch of rocks. There's no timber out here in Washington, so you live in a pile of rocks. And you fight the heat, the cold, the wind, the dust, the cockroaches and rattlesnakes and scorpions and tarantulas, and we still handle those today. You drink river water and spring water and cooked over wood. Fruits, vegetables, and meats are brought in from Fort Mojave, Southern California, the ranches in Vegas. Supplies brought in from San Francisco mainly. Place your order now so you can get it by Veterans Day. Took you 6 months to get your stuff. Here's what the mill looked like for 40 years down at the river. Wood is brought in, coal is brought in, even Native Americans are paid to collect driftwood to fuel these machines. These machines are stamp mills. There's 15 stamps here. You see that? This is the place where you get quartz crushed. So the Cliff Note version runs like this. You get the rock blasted, shoveled in the carts, hook them to animals, use a mule, horse, or a burro. Otherwise, it's gonna take a few guys to push it out because there's a ton of rock in these things. And then they're gonna take the rock out of the cart and load up wagons like these. And they're gonna send it down to the river. When somebody gets in the wagon, push the rock back into the cart, handling one rock at least 3 times. Push the carts to the bases of the 30-foot tall iron scales. So they're up to 700 pounds each, and they're powered by steam engines. They're gonna pound the rock 80 times a minute in this kind of cadence. There we go. Up to 24 hours a day. Anybody sleepy? Are you filming me? Okay, just portions of it, not don't film my whole thing, but
You got it.
I'm not going on YouTube.
You got it, man.
I'm wanted in 52 different states.
What city?
2 of those states are in Mexico.
The owner out here is a big fan of hoarding vehicles. Check out all the triple-decker buses and VW buses. That's pretty awesome. All right, now we're going into the mine. Go. Thank you. This is pretty heavy. Just so you get a little perspective of what it looks like in here. Wow. This is heavy.
One of the busiest men at the mine, they were keeping chisels sharp, tempered, and exchanged out. Starting with 4-pound hammers, the men strike the chisel, but only turn it a quarter of a turn. It took them 4 swings to complete a rotation. Ladies and gentlemen, this is an 1800s drill before the Industrial Revolution. And then foreman expects these guys to hit it 20 to 30 times a minute. 1 every 2, 3 seconds for hours. And it takes up to 40 minutes just to drill 1 hole because they're 3 feet deep. Once it's deeper than their starter bit, their partner comes by with a longer one. Hammerman grabs an 8-pound sledge. Drill man will spin the drill in his hand. Or he'll have to spin it on his shoulder. Guess where Hammerman is?
Right behind his ear.
Right behind his ear. Up to 12 holes drilled like that, and they're strategically placed. My favorite pattern they used was when they would drill 3 holes on one side and 3 on the other, 1 at the top, and a big X in the middle. And they're gonna blow the 5 off in the middle first, because they want that rock to fall down and in. You want to implode that rock, like a Las Vegas hotel, and not explode rock. Now the holes are drilled, so the next thing they did originally was shove in tubes filled with gunpowder or black powder. Later on, they'll be introduced to Nobel's dynamite when he invents it. And they're all explosive, so they use wood to shove it in. Don't use metal. Rubber can cause something you don't want to. Next, they cut the fuses at different lengths for timing and sequence. That way, you can count each and every explosion to hear if there was a thud. You don't come back and put a pick into a live charge and get yourself blown up, which was known to happen. Lighting the fuses, they yell that familiar phrase, fire in the hole. And then what would they do?
Run.
Actually, they would walk. No running. And there's several reasons why. You know the first reason why?
The vibration.
Well, your candles.
Oh, vibration. Good. That's reason number 2.
Hit your head.
It didn't. Oh man, they didn't run because they were all in the Union.
That's awesome.
Cool. Like, are these on timers? Are they started?
Maybe. Or are they real gas?
Yeah, it's
That's good.
just be a timer.
Here we go. Oh, that's a little better. Nice. Oh, wow. That is awesome. Haunted mine.
Make sure you hold on your phone tight.
No, you bet.
You ain't getting
Gonna go excavating for it.
You missed the way in the beginning. It was an 8-foot wide vein when across the street. So it was pretty tall up here too. And so they dug down a little bit and saw that it looks like it's gonna be pretty big. And then they dug this tunnel, you came in, and then took a left and came in here, and then went up, and then went down.
Wow.
Does that make any sense? Yeah, this is Southern Nevada's richest gold and silver mine. There's no more gold and silver mining in the Mojave Desert in Nevada. Just a reminder, Nevada is the driest state in the country because it's made up of 2 of the 4 deserts. Great Desert, Great Basin, 2/3, right? We're down in the lower third, the Mojave. So the gold and silver mining today is in the Great Basin part of the state, nothing in the Mojave. Gypsum is here, you know. Gold easier and gives people more time to get out. Wait a while, bring in another
Still
mill,
see
he's singing,
specks
the guys
of
participated, and they can get back to work. To get
Quartz.
the animal to work was difficult because they're taken out each day. Some mines leave the animals in the mine for up to 3 weeks. Why 3 weeks? Because when they're working in candlelight 3 weeks, the muscle in the eye begin to deteriorate and the animal's slowly going blind.
Gotta love history. That's the sling how they would get miners up and down. That's heavy. Wow.
Pretty amazing, ain't it?
Oh, you know it. Look at that. Could you imagine being lowered down there to go mining? This is a pretty heavy tour, man. You learn a lot of history and, of course, the scenery. Again, you could still see quartz inside the walls. Let's see, there was a chip I saw before. Yeah, I saw a giant chip before, but I don't want to take nothing. There it is. Giant chip of quartz. Nice. Looky up there, dude.
I don't know if you were here, but you're talking, that's that
Yeah.
iron there.
That's awesome.
Yeah, you see
This
what
is
it's
iron bedrock. So, I promised the tour guide that I wouldn't videotape the entire tour, so that's why I'm breaking off. But this tour is awesome.
That's a unique situation. Well, follow those guys in front of you guys, man.
It's easy to get lost. That's heavy, man.
Park it here.
Oh, dude.
So how does a accident like that happen?
So this here is a recreation of the biggest accident that happened in the mine.
Man that pushed in the dynamite using the tools, well, he used a flat end. 'Cause he
That's
used a pointy
wicked.
end, you know, pull a hole on it. So he hit the pointy end and the spark ricocheted off the ricochet.
Oh, the light's not good enough to
But he
catch your
started to get
story.
to it. Prompted a guy from London, England to ask me if I happen to know what
That's
was the
all right.
last thing that went through that guy's mind.
That's wicked.
I've heard of British humor before, but I thought that was a keeper, man. Beyond that gate goes 200 feet of tunnel. It looks like the 1863 Savage tunnel we're doing right now, and it dead ends, so it's a waste of your time. Beyond that
Wicked.
gate was a mine owned by a man named George Hearst. His son Randolph built the Hearst Castle in San Diego. The Hearst family made a fortune off the Comstock Road in Silver City, Nevada, and invested in mines around the country like Deadwood, here. John Nash, he owned the Chautauqua, he wanted Hearst's Queen City. So, he forcibly took it over with 3 guys, and at that point, you call it claim. Paid one, paid the other, promoted the other.
What's it called? What's it called? Mire. They're only found in northwest Nevada and southeast Australia. Or Amazon.com, girls. But what they get you in trouble, bro, to take place on the Black Rock Desert. Down here, Tony Bobby left the mine away, they found, check this out. Mine was just in the water table, I'm not really sure what year they hit it.
Oh, that's.
But in January 42, they had to close the mines, and they closed the copper and iron mines, which was one of those more. And so when they came back, they found it flooded.
Adjusted what?
They
Like,
were able to get all the
oh, you can't?
they were mining So the only you have to feel for the land.
Thank you. That is awesome. That's the waterworks, how the ore used to come down. And that's deeper into the tunnel, and that's a little friend. Little Halloween friend.
surveying or draw up maps, you know, 1 through 4 down
It's
there?
like,
It's like the one
There's a
we
lot
saw.
of strips, sometimes
Yeah.
it'd be, sample sites they would take.
So they,
Every once in a while, you gotta sample the rock, of course, to see if
And
there's
then you-
enough gold and silver in it.
It's still a sturdy ladder, dude.
yeah, they pull it out.
See the speed limit, keep going.
Except for that.
And if it's not, then they stop the shaft and tunnel.
Wow. Thank you. Thank you.
This vein that they're following comes all the way from across the street of the store, past the canary room, and it actually ran a half mile, the main course vein they were following. And then they found in the canary room that wide vein, you know, stretch what, 200 feet or so many yards? So, that vein, because it's, the light switch is back at that last stop, so take a picture, I'll be right back.
He's giving us a view of what the mine looks like in candlelight.
And then we have to find our way out.
Yeah.
And then he'll say, find your way out.
There we go.
Not too bad.
I don't know. You can't see nothing. You can't see the sunlight no more.
Miner's lights, known as carbide lamps, are invented in 1900. They get here 20 years later. 60 of the 81 years this mine's operating, they're doing it like this. And they like to use flame, whether by carbide or a candle, because with flame, you can see the quartz glow in the dark. That you missed when an electric light was on. And they get to use cool candle holders.
It gets dark.
It's real dark.
There's-
You can't see nothing.
Theirs were thicker, thicker points, stems, the hooks as thick as my finger, and handles so thick. These guys would file a little divot in there, put a sliding trap door, so they found a little gold piece, they could put it in there, cover it with wax and smother it out. Pound this into rock or wood, you can see how the hooks are used. See how they're used, Bruce? Put them on steps of ladder, fit a couple of guys in here, it's gonna be lit up right where they're mining, and not gonna have a wind problem, because it's dead end. But, anybody wanna climb 7 stories with this thing up there?
Up the ladder, that's good.
That is awesome.
You read the waiver, we gotta go, come on. Read waiver from now. Don't drop this when you're up there. It looks like pretty close. You turn off the light on your phone up there. You guys,
I know everyone's one.
just turn off these lights.
This was an awesome tour, dude.
No, I'm saying it's.
This tour rocks. Those are the candle holders.
Oh, yeah.
This was totally awesome, and I would totally come back. Totally come back.
If you guys hadn't had a chance, look around the property, look around, be careful of the cacti and rattlesnake. 5 miles down is the overlook to the Colorado River. Thanks for coming out, appreciate you guys. Anything you wanna talk about it, we can yap about it on the way back.
Is all of this the debris from the mine?
All this tailings?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's all tailings.
Yeah, that's the crushed quartz, yeah. You have to clean out the tanks. I appreciate it, man.
Very good, very well.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you, Fred.
Yeah. Did a great job.
Oh, thanks. Thanks. Yeah, they have to clean out the tanks. Up here, they just dump them on the ground, you know.
Yeah.
Right.
When the mill was at the river, they dump it into the river. So you're not gonna see this down there.
Right. Oh yeah, it's underwater.
Huh? I would totally do this tour again. It was fun.
That was nice.
Totally. And it's really beautiful out here. People think that the desert is, there's a lot of life out here and definitely a lot of history. That was awesome, guys. It's like 15 degrees hotter out here, or 20. Yeah, that's the entrance to the mine. Well, thank you for coming with us. Next time, I'm hoping to do the Pinball Hall of Fame.
I want to go there too.
You want to do the new one? Yes!
Pinball Hall of Fame.
The Pinball Hall of Fame next time. Happiness, health, and hugs from Nelson, Nevada. Nelson, Ghost Town, Nevada.